All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of KickSaga. This is the show where we interview first-time board and tabletop game creators once before they launch their Kickstarter and then once after their Kickstarter has completed to kind of learn exactly what they did to prepare and then how well that preparation actually ended up resulting in their Kickstarter. And so I'm very excited today to have another part two where we circle back with an existing tabletop creator to see how their game, how things worked out after their Kickstarter finished. And I'm very excited that we have another funded Kickstarter here today. So this Kickstarter was successful. It funded, and we're going to dig into what Morten here thought helped and facilitated that funding, and some of the things that he did that he felt helped contribute to that success for his game, Viking Raiders. Welcome back, Morten. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, we just had a little chat about my Achilles heel. We can maybe get back to that later. But yeah, I'm good.
So
yeah,
it's crazy how the life happens and things happen, and sometimes timing can be good or bad, especially around a Kickstarter, right? Because when you set the date for the Kickstarter and you're ready to go and you launch it, it's kind of that's it, and you're held captive to the dates that you set for that thing. So yeah, why don't you, before we dig into everything, why don't you kind of recap the exciting events that happened to you physically while your Kickstarter was active?
Yeah, okay. Well, so it was a 3.5 week campaign, and about 2 weeks in, I was out playing squash, and I ruptured my Achilles tendon, which then sent me to hospital, and pain, plaster, and leg up, and lying in bed for a week,
Ouch.
feeling sorry for myself. So that was interesting. But I was actually super grateful throughout the whole thing that we had launched, we got to where we got to, and I was kind of able to ride it out. Yeah, I'm really,
had you
really
funded
happy.
By the time this injury happened?
Yeah, we funded on the first day, thankfully. So I was not.
Nice.
I mean, I was pretty relaxed actually, campaign-wise by that point, and super happy that it hadn't happened in the run-up. I mean, I can't imagine if it had happened in the month or two leading up to the Kickstarter. That would have been
right, because you were going to events and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and you book your marketing stuff, and everything's kind of timelined out. And we had a fairly relaxed campaign as well. There wasn't too much to do during the campaign, so it was for us fairly lucky if it was going to happen.
Right. Well, let's talk about the campaign. So where did you, just kind of summarize for folks where you ended up with your funding and the amount of backers you had, and kind of maybe the breakdown of what levels all the backers ended up at?
Oh, okay. So we ended up at 341 backers, which I'm really, really pleased with. That gave 88,000 krona, which is roughly $13,000 US, which was 230% funded or something. So we funded on the first day, which we were really happy to do. I'm
very nice.
super happy with the numbers. We can get into that later, what that means. As far as pledged levels go, there were quite a few who backed on the base level, but we had, in the run up to it, we'd been kind of dallying around a bit, and I'm not quite sure as to how to funnel people up the sales channel. And then we added playmats, and we added pins and stuff like that, and it was it worked. It did increase the pledge levels quite significantly, I think.
Nice.
One of the things I was maybe surprised about was we got around 70 backers with just the print and play version, which I think is really, really cool, because I'd been on the fence about whether to do that or not. Absolutely.
I can see that, especially with shipping rates these days and that kind of thing, that would be an attractive prospect, especially for a game that's primarily card based like yours is. That would be easy for people to kind of print and play and
Yeah,
get playing it soon and not have to worry about paying for shipping and anything. So it's good to
yeah,
hear
for
that
sure.
that worked out for you.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing, and for me, it's a thing of just I want to get it on people's tables. I want to get people having fun with it. So it's epic
Absolutely.
to have got those people involved as well. Obviously, money wise, it doesn't do much to move the needle, but but number of people enjoying the game wise, it's epic.
Right. It doesn't hurt because those people probably wouldn't have
No,
backed it if that level wasn't there. So that's good.
exactly.
So what did you attribute to what drove that kind of getting funded on the first day? Were you able to see where, a majority of those people were coming from who came in on that first day?
Um, it's actually pretty difficult to see what's having the effect. I was super excited on the first day to discover that there were referral links that you could use, um, where you can set up a link saying with a particular like code at the end of it, which you can then say, okay, this is, and you can create as many as you want. And say Facebook posts, create a new link, and then you can chuck that link out to your Facebook post. You could then say Twitter and then chuck that out, and then you should be able to see the numbers coming in. We did that quite a lot, but it kind of got a bit muddy and confusing at the end because
Mm,
I'm not sure how much iOS 15 has impacted on being able to have transparency. And a lot of the people, you're hitting them
right.
on multiple levels. You've got them on the email list, you've got them in the Facebook group, you've got them pre-notification launch. It's all the same person. So, um, what was your question again? What moved the needle? I think it's a bit of everything, actually, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
I could definitely see that friends and family were really important, and they
Right.
jumped on board to quite a large extent just early on because we really prepped them and we spent a lot of energy on trying to get them in. And it's hard to actually see where they landed because I had my own referral link, my girlfriend had a referral link, and players, and then they were also on the Kickstarter
Right.
and all the other things. So difficult, but that's definitely made a difference. We could see that when we were following the who was back in at the beginning. We could see, oh, that's that friend, that's that friend, that's that family member. But pretty soon that gets overtaken by people who you're like, I don't know who that is. Okay, interesting. Okay, and that's but I would say that definitely gave us a boost to start with.
And you had, I think I remember that you had about 1,600 or so on your email list when
Yeah.
you launched. What did you do to kind of get them to get excited? Did you do any emails in the run up? Did you send them a few emails on day one? How did you kind of approach getting them to take action?
Oh, now I've got to dig down in my memory and try to remember. We definitely we didn't want to over spam people, although we were recommended so that it
Right.
made no difference and you should anyway. But we did. We were sending out certainly 2 weeks before, a week before, a couple of days before, the day before, on the day, and then we did because we had an super early bird offer, so we sent that out
Mm,
on the day as well. And then we had an early bird offer running out 3 days after, so we sent out. Pretty sure we sent out after the campaign had launched, also to say we funded and get on board. Um, we sent out a mail to people who were um, non. Was it they called it non-engaged or something on Mailchimp? You could send out to people who
right.
weren't really responding. So
Right.
because we targeted them as well with the mail, and that it didn't give a ton of opens, but it did give some,
Right.
and a couple of backers.
Nice.
So yeah, we tried to send it, but I felt we were hitting the same people again and again.
Yeah, that's true. But especially with email, if some people are busy or they just, might miss an email or something, so hitting them a couple times might seem annoying to you, but they might only see one out of 5 emails that you send, and
Exactly.
so that could make all the difference.
And
Cool.
that's a very good sentiment to take with you on everything you do, that don't worry too much about over exposing, because people will,
Right.
like you say, you will hit people, fresh people, and they'll appreciate it.
What Was there any kind of feedback that you got from people during the campaign that surprised you or made you change something in the game?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No, there was some questions about translations into certain languages.
Mm.
There was one about could you play it solo? That surprised me a little bit. It's a take that game. I was,
Right.
but then again, we've done an interesting 2-player version. It's like actually, and that made me think there might be some potential there. That was pretty cool. That was surprising. But I was also expecting some trolls and some negative comments and things like that. But there
Yeah.
didn't really seem to be much. But I mean,
No.
we weren't a campaign with like tons and tons of engagement. So
Right. You don't
again,
have
it's you know we
thousands of people
no we had
backing and
300
having
backers, right?
opinions.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so maybe it needs to be a bit bigger for that kind of thing to start happening.
that
So
makes
on the whole,
sense.
I thought it was very nice. I got some great comments, and I
Yeah.
was able to deal with them very quickly and get some good comments with them.
What do you say was the most challenging part of the whole Kickstarter experience from while the campaign was running?
Um, oh, do you know what? I feel we had a fairly easy run because we funded early, so we could relax. I think the challenging thing was after 2 or 3 days, we are like, don't really know what to do
Yeah,
because we we got where we wanted to be. We were pretty happy. Um, I think we kind of it was weird. We kind of run out of ideas a little bit because we didn't have stretch goals as such. So
mm,
wasn't much to be chasing. So there was some. We did a bit of outreach on Facebook again, you know, reposting in lots of groups and things.
yeah,
But I think it was a little bit, yeah, a little bit at a loss
that's
to what
great.
to do.
I love that. I mean, if you can reach your goal and you don't have any crazy stretch goals or anything else that you're trying to reach, and the goal that you set was actually the goal that you needed to reach, and it wasn't like okay, we actually need to reach this next goal
Mm,
to be successful or whatever. That sounds like a great way to run your first campaign, right, and not be stressing so much while the campaign is running, and just kind of
yeah,
let it run its course. That's very nice.
it was quite a lot like that. I mean, you can't. I've got to be honest. You look around and you kind of think, you know, it'd be amazing to have. I'd love to have had a projects we love badge, right? So you think, what can I do? Can I push it? Can I? No, you can't really do much about that. So, and you kind of want it to go viral, right? Everyone wants their game to go viral and to
Yeah.
suddenly have 2,000 backers and be reviewed on some channel that you'd never thought of. It didn't happen to us, and it's probably not going to happen to a lot of other people.
But there's
So
a
you know,
downside to that also. You
uh,
can get those trolls and you get a lot more people asking you to do things, and it's a lot more to keep up with. You have to, constantly be checking the messages and stuff. We hear from people who have super successful Kickstarter campaigns where they're like, I was just burnt out and it was
mhm.
crazy. And so, there is a downside to that as well. So it might be good to, especially for your first campaign, to just have a nice relaxed campaign, fund early, and then take those lessons learned and apply them in the future. So speaking of the future, what are you thinking now after this campaign is done? Do you see yourself running future Kickstarter campaigns, expansions for this game? What do you think is in store for the future of you as a publisher?
Yes, that's a great question, and we've been taking it one step at a time, and I think this has been yet another confirmation that what we're doing is working and it's fun. What's the future? Um, I think for me, the future now is going to be how do we do retail with this? What do we
Mm,
how do we go non Kickstarter? How do we hit the families that we know are going to enjoy this game a lot? And that's going to be an interesting scenario. So the non Kickstarter marketing, we want to have product sitting on a shelf so that we can
right.
a family mum. We're coming up to Christmas. They're looking for a stocking filler. We can directly market to that, and they can go order, and it's on their doorstep 2 days later, sort of thing.
So what
So that
have
is
you taken
really
any
cool.
steps to implement that? Done any research? Start making any plans, or that's like you worry
No,
about that? Yeah,
yeah, we'll worry about that. I mean, that what happens there is it's how many copies are you going to order, because there's a huge delay from when you order to when you actually get your thing. Right, we're talking
right.
months. So, do you order 1,000 copies? Do you order 2,500? Do you order 3,000? What do you do? What are you going to do with them?
Yeah,
But I think we'll just go sort of middle of the road there, and then get maybe 1,500 copies or 2,000 copies. It's a lot, but it's not a super high risk financially. Um, and then we've got some stuff to play
right.
with. And as
Are
far
you
as
going to create?
Kickstarter, oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Are you going to create your own kind of online store on your website that people can buy direct from you?
Well, I'm not sure. I really don't
Mhm.
know. I think that's
Okay.
definitely going to have to be a part of it. That when you
Yeah.
finish a Kickstarter, you get a button that if people find the Kickstarter, they can click that button. That could either go to Amazon, it could go to a homepage, it could go to, and if you've partnered with somebody who's selling your game for you, it could go there, which is pretty cool. But I mean, all of that, I'm thinking, yes, there has to be an online presence. There has to be the ability to order this thing post Kickstarter. Exactly where it's going to be, I don't know yet. I mean,
Right.
Amazon is a great bet. Possibly, it could be
Yeah.
through our shipping partner. They also have options for fulfilling. It could be through them. At the very least, you'll be able to order it on our own website.
Right. Now, what are you using for a pledge manager? Are you just using Kickstarter's built-in one, or did you go with a third party one?
No, I decided not to. I wanted to use GameFound
Okay. Uh,
for because, well, it's because I didn't want the Kickstarter fee to be eating into the shipping pledges, which they would take 5% off your shipping pledge. Of course, there's still going to be a payment processing fee through GameFound. The other thing is that if I think it's nice to have a presence on both of those platforms, because I think GameFound, their strategy looks very much like they're going games, right?
right.
But they didn't quite have the market presence for us to want to start with them. But by having the pledge manager on GameFound, then we will then have a presence on both platforms moving forward. So I'm going to go with
That's smart.
GameFound.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to have it set up the week after we finished the Kickstarter, so that people could late pledge pretty much immediately. But it looks like I need to have all my shipping sorted before I can open it up,
Ah, okay.
which
That
has
makes
put me
sense.
back. It's put me back a few weeks at least, trying to work out what the actual final shipping is going to be.
Right.
So
What is contributing to that delay? Is it just trying to communicate with the shipping partner?
yes, and prioritizing where my tasks lie. I've got the digital
Mm,
fulfillment is high. The getting the manufacturing kicked off is high on my list, and I've kind of priority wise, I feel that I can still catch late pledges a bit later. If people are still interested, they can now sign up to the email list, and then we can hit the email list with how to late pledge. So I'm
mm,
not in a major hurry to get that set up just yet. Um,
right.
and I also want to get it right. And in order to get my shipping right, I need to be set up properly with a fulfillment company and to really know my numbers there. And that's going to take a few weeks to get that sorted. So
So
it's
if
complicated.
yeah, yeah, I can see that. Even for a simple game with a few hundred backers, you still have to have all that figured out and get
Yeah.
all the pieces lined up, get them all going in the right order to get those games out to the people that ordered them.
Yes, I could have done more on the pledge manager beforehand. I can see that now. I could have spent time setting that up. I mean, we were time pressured enough just to get it ready for Kickstarter. So it I figured
So
it can wait.
that's a good lesson learned for folks who might want to save some of that time at the back end by getting that stuff set up at the beginning. But I can imagine it's also hard to make decisions before knowing exactly how many people are going to back the game
Well, this
and
is it.
if it's going to
Yeah.
fund at all. you know.
Yeah, and it's a fog of war. You're kind of uncovering it as you go along, and
Right.
Yeah.
So, what would be your biggest piece of advice to someone like me who is working on a game, plans on kickstarting it themselves down the road? What kind of, some of the top couple things that you think they should be, paying attention to or doing to make sure that they also fund successfully?
I think the whole story about bring your own crowd is important, and it's really important. I would
Yeah.
definitely take that seriously and spend the time. And sometimes, you look at your numbers, you think, oh, we've got 1,600 on our email list. How come we've only got 300 backers? Sort of thing. You can drive yourself crazy on that. But then, and we did Facebook marketing. But if we hadn't done any of that, it would have really fizzled, I think. So do take that seriously. Build your buzz. Build whatever you can. Bring your audience with you. I think that has been an important part of it.
Yeah, there's almost like a pre-campaign to Kickstarter that you have to do to build your audience, and then launch on Kickstarter, build more of an audience, and then launch your game. There's almost, totally separate processes there.
There are a few processes, and you also need to have your numbers straight, and you need to have your expectations straight as well. So because the thing is, once you're in and you've done it and you've pressed the button and people have backed you, you've got to deliver. There's
no going
back. That's it. You've done it. It's not just a game anymore. You're a business providing a service, and you have to actually provide. Right. So don't dick around with your numbers. Get them right.
Right, and that's and by numbers you mean what it's going to cost,
what it's going to cost to
for
produce, exactly. Shipping. Where are your profit margins? Don't squeeze them too much. Allow yourself some room for maneuver. Do some worst case. I mean, there's worst case and worst case, but but if you end up putting worst case on absolutely everything, you get a game that costs $10,000 and will ship in 20 years. But do take it seriously, because when push comes to shove, you're delivering something, and you
feel good about the estimations you made with the numbers at this point.
I'm very happy. Good. I really am. There's nothing scary in there. There's plenty of scary stuff happening, but there's enough contingency in it, enough room to maneuver for. I'm not lying awake at night wondering about what's going to happen. It's going to work out, and I'm super, super happy that we got the backing that we did. So
great. Well, hey, I look forward to seeing what the future holds for you guys, and what other games might be in the works, or hopefully I'll see Viking Raiders on the shelves at my local game store here.
That would be amazing.
In the near future. Yep, that would be awesome. So any parting words of wisdom before we let you go?
I'm wondering. I wanted to share a little story with you guys, and that was that I fell into one scam. You see, I usually do a lot of due diligence, but what happens is when you put yourself out there, people come to you and will offer you all sorts of amazing things. And I got offered a marketing opportunity which seemed legit. Although looking back on it, I don't know what I was thinking. I think we were on day 2 of or day 3, and everything was fantastic and wow. And there was a $50 push for some Facebook adverts or something. And I kind of looked at it, what the fuck? And then I did the classic. I went and said, "Oh, I'll do $100. I'll just double it." Well, it just felt so good. And then as soon as I did that, and the payment went through, and I knew I should have listened to myself. And then I saw there was a payment that went out to Nigeria, and I was like,
"Oh no,
I've been had." I was completely well and truly screwed. So do your due diligence, no matter what.
So they said they offered to like run some Facebook ads for you. Is that what?
It was something cool. It was like the marketing queen or something. I look back on it, I'm mortified and embarrassed, and I can't believe that I fell for that one. But I was just it hit me at the right moment, and I was in a moment of weakness,
Right.
And I jumped in, and it almost immediately regretted it and thought, oh, it's too good to,
Right.
it was too good to be true. And yeah, so do your due diligence, no matter what, and no matter where you are.
Go seeking out marketing help. Don't wait for the marketing help to come to you.
Exactly.
And
Or if it does, be careful.
Right. And when in doubt, you utilize, some of the great groups out there on Discord or Facebook with game designers,
Also
and,
that.
say, hey, I've got this, offer. What do you guys think? If you guys use this person
Yeah.
before, and yeah.
Yeah, and there you touched on another thing. I think using the Facebook groups to get your page looked at that's something we skipped, ran out of time. I think I would have liked that.
Right. Yeah, it's a plus or minus to that, or pros or cons to that, because you'll end up getting sometimes conflicting ideas when you do that.
Yeah,
I've seen that where people share their page and one person's like, oh, I hate this section. Another person, oh, I love this section. You need more of it. And then sometimes you don't know what to do. But it is good to get some of that feedback, because maybe everyone will have a consensus that, hey, this thing should be up at the top, or this, needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. So that's definitely can be helpful. But it looks like you put together a great page.
I was very happy with that, actually, in the end. Yeah,
wasn't much work that needed to be done there,
by hook or crook.
Awesome. So we'll have a link to the Kickstarter page in the below this video, so you guys can check it out. Use it to help inspire your own pages. And if the game looks good, you're still able to pre-order it. So definitely do that as well. And
you will always be able to find it through the Kickstarter page, no matter what.
Great. Excellent. So it'll be there. Well, Morten, thanks so much for sharing your experience with us. I'm very happy to hear that it funded and that it was a relatively relaxing campaign for you, other than the injury, of course. I hope to keep in touch and again, see where this journey takes you. So thank you.
That'd be great, and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
All right, guys, and thank you for watching. If you like this video and you'd like to follow other board game creators on their journey through the Kickstarter universe, go ahead and subscribe to this series. Just hit the subscribe button there in YouTube. Click the little notification bell so that every time we go with a new video, you'll get notified, especially because once we launch the first video, we're always going to have a follow-up video to that to circle back around with the creators to see how their campaign did. So if you want to catch up with these creators and see how successful some of their preparations were, definitely make sure to subscribe and catch those updated videos. So until next time, I'm Matthew Rodella, and this has been KickSaga. See you next time.